Hey everyone, welcome back to another Haolonggood review. Today we're taking a look at the Wuerhosaurus. I know it's been a while that Haolonggood was working on a stegosaur. Everyone thought it was going to be kentrosaurus, so they kind of threw us for a loop when they did Wuerhosaurus. Happy either way. I always love obscure species to add to my collection. Now I end up getting both of these off of AliExpress. They retail for like $17.99. I've lately been going for the box option. They do ship in the styrofoam insert that would come in the box. It saves me a couple bucks that way. Like I said in the Pachyrhinosaurus review, as soon as I get these, the boxes go right in the trash. So might as well save a couple of bucks. I'll leave a link down below in the description to that AliExpress store if you want to order them for yourself. And really, the only other thing we need to talk about, since there's no boxes, I did get the Pachyrhinos and the Wuerhosaurus in the same package, and they sent me this little Ziploc bag full of aquarium plants. So you have some foliage to display with your dinosaur figures. So enough about that. Let's throw these up on the turntable and take a closer look. And here are both versions of the packaging. I have to say, another well done figure from Haolonggood. Definitely not my favorites from them. I do have a couple issues with them, but they're very, very minor. Like I always say during these Haolonggood reviews, you just cannot beat the price with the quality and paint apps you get with these figures. Now there's two versions. There's the purple version and the green version. My favorite out of the two, you know what? I actually like the purple version because I feel like green with yellowish orange plates. It's so overdone on Stegosaurus, so it's refreshing to see a different color scheme for once. The details on these figures are very, very soft, much softer than any of their other releases. It kind of makes them look a little bit flat, but up close there is some nice, really fine scale detail on them. One of the complaints I did hear is the mouths aren't really defined. They should have been painted with a black line. Hey, Safari did it with their Dilophosaurus, and it kind of looked was it the Dilophosaurus? I think it was the Dilophosaurus and the Concavinator, and that kind of just looked terrible in my eyes. It just really distracts me. It's like someone just drew on it with a marker. So I'm fine, with no line for the mouth. It is there. It's just very, very faint. The plates on Wuerhosaurus, it has been determined that those plates were broken. We really don't know the shape of the plates, so all the reconstructions we see are based on what we know of the plates. So yes, these figures technically aren't accurate because we don't know what the rest of the plates look like. But other than that, I think they're both really neat looking figures. Now for some measurements, these figures are just a hair under 7 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, or 17.8 centimeters, and about 2¼ inches tall to that highest plate above the hips, or 6.3 centimeters. So Wuerhosaurus in real life was around 23 feet long, or 7 meters. So I put this figure in the 140 scale range. Now let's take a look at the purple version, which is my favorite of the two. Nicely sculpted head. You can see the mouth is sculpted in there. There is a nice, line in there, but from a distance, the figures do look very flat. But upon closer inspection, the figures do have some really, really nice detail. My complaint is mostly aesthetic. You pull the figure out, from your view, and they just look very flat. But up close, these figures are just absolutely chock full of detail. The eye is painted black with a black pupil. You can see the beak sculpted in, the nostrils, and you have all this nice, like, deep purple coloration splotched throughout the body, highlighted by black spots and lines, and it's mostly covered by this nice cream coat going down to the front leg. Front legs are really nicely sculpted. Going down to the plates have a nice reddish coloration with some black markings along it. Like I said, we don't know the exact shape of Wuerhosaurus plates. The plates that we do have in the fossil record were broken, so this is what we're going with for now. You can see they are nicely done. You have some little osteoderms peppered throughout the middle of those plates, some more nice scale detail, and going down to the legs, you get some more osteoderms peppered on the thighs, nicely sculpted feet, and going down to the back of the body, we do have a very, very nice stegosaur cloaca right there, and then going down to the tail, you see all these large scales at the base of the plates that slowly work its way up. That's a really, really nice detail. And going down, the thagomizers at the end are all decked out in bright orange paint. So yeah, all around really, really nice figures. Let's get the camera to refocus on them. Like I always say, you just can't beat the price of Haolonggood right now. For 18 bucks, this figure from P&S probably would have cost like 35 to 40 bucks. And now let's take a look at the green version. Green version is really nice, but like I say, green and the yellowish orange plates on stegosaurs is so overdone. So that's why I like the purple one a little bit better. It's just refreshing. But you can see the mouth sculpting right here, the eye, black pupil, a little bit of shading around the orbit. The plates on the back of the neck, the first couple rows, same thing on the purple one, aren't painted in. They're just the same, base color as the plastic. Kind of wish there was a little bit more paint put on those. That's like another minor complaint on this figure. But getting down to the regular plates, you have this nice yellow coloration with a little bit of orange splash in there and some dark markings. Nice detail on the plates. You can see more of that green and those osteoderms peppered throughout. More of that light green mixed in with that cream and these brownish blotches and lines all over the body. Some more nice, very fine scale detail over the body. Nice folds and wrinkles. Feet are nicely colored. All the toe claws are painted in. Same butthole on this one. And it looks like there's a couple little bulges right there. I wonder what those are. And then going down to the tail, you get more of that green and brown and all that cream color mixed in. The orange is about the same color orange as is on the purple version on the Thagomizer. So yeah, all around, both figures are really nice. It just, it comes down to what your color preference is with these two figures. But, like I always say, the prices of these makes it really easy to buy both of them. So it looks like a mated pair. Moving on with comparisons, here is Collecti's 140 scale human figure. And these figures are all in scale with each other. And next up here is Vitae's take on Wuerhosaurus. This figure came out years ago. Vitae is no longer around. Unfortunately, they've had a rough go at it over the last few years. I actually like Haolonggood's better than Vitae's. I love Vitae's when it came out, but the paint, absolutely, it's a very glossy look to them. I think these look much more natural, but this figure is still available on AliExpress, so at least you have a couple choices when it comes to the species. And next up, let's do a few stegosaur species. Here's PNSO's Merigaya, and next up is also another PNSO. Here is their Haolonggood, and next up, here it is with Safari Limited Stegosaurus, and lastly, here it is with PNSO's take on Stegosaurus. Absolutely love this Stegosaurus, but still FU PNSO on the price of it. And next up, since they got released together, here it is with Haolonggood's Pachyrhinosaurus. And lastly, here is a nice group shot of all the great figures Haolonggood has put out recently. Like I said, they've been releasing figures like every couple of weeks, and look at this lineup. We have these two beautiful, massive apatosaurs. Over here are the new Wuerhosaurus, which I'll be reviewing next. We have the Tyrannosaurs. Here's the Pachys, the Pseudoceratops, Pentaceratops, and the Tianzenosaurs. So yeah, beautiful lineup. We have an Edmontonia along the way. And one thing I just want to point out really quick, I know a lot of people, the biggest complaint about the Tyrannosaurus was the lack of thumb spikes, but due to, fan outcry, Haolonggood went back, retooled the mold, and now there are newer versions out there that actually have the thumb spike incorporated. Who does that? I can't think of any company that has done a turnaround like that with complaints about a figure like Haolonggood did. So I think it's pretty cool that they did that. And I think they said if you do end up ordering it from the AliExpress stores, please, tell them in the notes that you want the newest version with the thumb spikes. But that's awesome that they did that. They're listening to us collectors that give them the money to make these figures. So great company, and I'm glad they're just giving such a diverse line of figures in such a short amount of time. So final thoughts on Haolonggood's take on Wuerhosaurus. Both are great figures. I prefer the purple one, but at least we always have a couple color options when they release their figures. I think both are beautifully sculpted. From a distance, they look really flat looking, but up close, there's a lot of really fine sculpted detail on them. I know some people said, the mouth is, barely noticeable, but it's really not a big deal. All the details are there. You just got to look really close to see them, and they're definitely worth that $18 price point. And like I said at the beginning of the review, I got mine from AliExpress. The link to that store is down below in the description if you want to pick one up for yourself. So that will do it for the review. Actually slowly catching up on everything. I know my reviews have been sporadic the last month or so. There's a lot of stuff going on, moving pretty soon, so I've been packing up a lot of things. I got the Reborn Diplodocus, should be in any day now. There's still some Jurassic World stuff I have to catch up on, so stay tuned for all of that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and it's greatly appreciated. I'll see you guys for the next one.